On YouTube. So this is part 2 of the Q&A that you requested. So we went on our social medias. We got a couple more questions from everybody out there. We wanted to make sure we got and answered some of them. Some of them, like we said before in the previous video, are going to be a little bit longer, so they're going to have their own separate videos. We'll still touch on some of them today. If you have any comments, other things you want answered, please drop in the comments below. Let us know. We'll try to get to them as quick as we can. If not, and if there's enough of them, we'll probably make another video like this. We're going to go later on into some more videos. We're going to talk about microgreens and things like that. So this is just kind of like for you to get to know us out there and everybody to kind of understand where we're coming from and some of our views and the way we look at things and everything. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, first question, babe. All right. Why did we decide to leave military life? Which we're still military. We're still in the military. We aren't getting to leave it yet.
Correct.
But why are we deciding to leave it?
So the big reason we're deciding to leave is right now we're at a time in our lives where both myself and Lacey have finished our degrees. We have our graduate's degrees. We're in our mid-30s. We've had this dream now.
I'm only 31.
Okay. I'm in my mid-30s. She's in her late 20s.
I wish.
So,
no, actually, I don't. I don't actually wish. Continue.
So we figured now's the best time as ever. We've had this dream for a couple years now. We went back and forth about getting out a couple different times during re-enlistment time frame. And like so many others, other outside factors came into play where we decided it was best for us to re-enlist. And now we're kind of to a point where if we don't do it now, then it's probably never going to happen. So now that's pretty much the big reason why we've decided. Well, we're still of age to be marketable with our degrees and our experience and everything else. And then also to be able to share it with all of you and start this process with all of you. There's a bunch of stuff out there when it comes to military retirement and a bunch of different avenues and resources and things like that they can take. But not too many for too many people that get out after 10 years before 20 years before retirement. So we hope that we can provide some of that information to you. I know I'm going to be personally making some more videos along those lines, which will have a playlist on this YouTube channel for that. So if those are some of the things that you want to see, like I said, comment below. Let us know, right? Those are some of the things that we'd like to dig into, and you all let us know what you'd like to hear.
I feel like so many others like us, they want to leave the military, but they let fear get in the way of that. And so we hope that because he's not retiring, we're just kind of getting out, that we inspire other people to make informed decisions and do what's best for their family. So hopefully you guys, we can give you some advice on that. Another thing that was really deciding for us is our kids aren't getting any younger either. If Damon stays in another, you have 7 years?
7 years, yeah.
Our oldest will be going to college, and we just really want to spend the last couple years with our kids at home, being really present and making memories. And then when they do eventually leave us to go on into college or start careers or families, we want them to have a place that they can come back and know that we're their home. Yeah. That's their home. They always have somewhere to come back to. So that was another reason why we were kind of like, if we're doing this, we need to do it, because otherwise, we're running out of time. So
it's never too late. Chase your dreams. I'm telling you.
All right, next question. In our GoFundMe, it talks about how eventually, like our 10-year plan, we would love to host other veteran families or other active duty families that are looking to transition out of the military and want to learn how to farm like us. We don't have any farming experience. Neither of us grew up on a farm. Nobody in our family is farmers. And so eventually down the road, we would love to invite those families, whether they're veterans or active duty families, and say, hey, come stay at our farm. And we're going to show you the ropes. We're going to show you how you can start your own farm, how you can grow your own food, how you can start a farm business. And so we would love to, that's probably like a 10-year plan. We got to figure out and know what we're doing first before we can obviously teach others. But
5 to 10 years.
That is our end game. We would love to be, as Damon calls it, a safe haven for veterans and families so that they can come and learn from us and then take that knowledge and go take it to their own farms. So
yeah, absolutely. That was one of the biggest things for me was there's not a whole lot out there when it comes to veterans and farming. There's a lot of different avenues and a lot of different resources that are out there, but they're not something that's really pushed. It's not an agenda that's pushed towards veterans and things like that. And clearly, it doesn't matter if you're Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines, Space Force now. There's no AFSC or MOS or anything like that that teaches you how to be a farmer in the military. That's just not one of our skilled trades. So the farming community is a very close-knit community in nature. So it's kind of became one of those things over the years that unless you were born into it, there's really not a whole lot of avenues for you as it is anyways. So we'd like to take those bumps and bruises, figure that stuff out along the way, and then be able to better provide service and self to other individuals that want to come out and serve their communities after they get done serving their country. So
that is question number 2. All right, they want to know where in Michigan we're looking at living or looking at farms or houses. So that's kind of dependent on a couple different factors, which I'll let you talk about, babe.
Yeah, so as we said in the previous video and as we've stated before, I'm still trying to do the skills bridge thing. Obviously, I have a degree and everything like that, and we kind of want to tailor it around that. So obviously we know we don't have the capital and everything to just go right out and buy a farm like Mark Wahlberg did in the movie, right? It's just not feasible for us. So what the intent is I'm going to get out, do a skills bridge, get a job, kind of keep a 9 to 5 normally, before and after work on the farm with Lacey, kind of get into the rhythm of those things, slowly build our farm up to where it needs to be, which is another big reason why the 5 to 10 year plan for the veterans safe haven is a big thing for us, because we want to make sure we're doing it right at the end of the day, right? Because I would hate to show somebody how to do something and then they try to replicate it on their home.
What did you teach us?
Yeah, absolutely. So big thing for us is kind of where the jobs are going to lie. So we've been looking at a lot of agricultural, a lot of Department of Natural Resources. I have master's degree in organizational leadership with fire prevention and fire management as a big thing, and then my bachelor's is also in emergency management and homeland security. So we're kind of gearing around those things to where I can find a job. With Lacey having her degrees in teaching and education, it's a little bit easier for her to kind of
can pretty much
pick and
go
choose
anywhere
wherever
live.
she wants to go. So it's kind of dependent on that. So we've been looking at a couple main areas that we like.
We really want to be centrally located to a couple of large cities. That's for one, why we are looking to be kind of centrally located between like Grand Rapids, Lansing area. We're also looking at some small towns outside of the Traverse City area. We're also looking at small towns outside of like Midland, Mount Pleasant. We're really keeping our options open. We do know that we don't want to go super far downstate, so we're not really looking at the Detroit area. He would love to live in the UP. I say no on the UP. I don't want to go that far north.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's kind of like wide open, and that's a really cool feeling and also a really scary feeling, because in the past 12 years, we haven't got to pick where we lived. And now we get to basically choose wherever, and it's like, how do we even choose? But we know that we need to be centrally located to a big city. We know that we want to actually live in a small town, and we want good schools, good sports programs. So
we want what any family would want for their family, right?
So that's our criteria.
Tip number 1, though, big thing here. We wanted to stay by a city specifically for the farm. That was the biggest tip we got when we first started all this some years ago, was find places that have a market available,
farmers market,
because you don't want to start a farm in a community that has no need for it, right? And big cities always have a need for farms, especially in Michigan. There's a lot of food desert areas and things like that. So if we can help provide those things to them, even if it's during our growing years, then we absolutely wanted to make sure that we could do that. We could supplement individuals in that manner. So that also played a big role into the areas we wanted.
It's really important, I know, especially to Damon, because it's going to be a really big transition for him going from having this huge mission, being in the military. We want to still have a mission. We still want to have a purpose when we move and be a part of our community and serve our community. So we're hoping that we can kind of find somewhere where we can fit in and serve our community. And, you know, our farm is a part of that community. And so it's important to us to find the right place. But we're kind of open to wherever in Michigan we end up. I'm kind of excited regardless, so I know you are too.
Absolutely.
So, and then the final question that we're going to answer tonight, there's more questions, so if we didn't get to your question, like we said, we're going to do more. But this is the final question for tonight. So why a farm?
So the big thing with us with a farm was we moved around the country, as we've stated a lot, and been to a bunch of different areas and things like that within the country, outside of the country. ESPN just sent our son a notification. But the big thing for us was we started having a lot of health issues within our family, not necessarily our immediate family, but within our family as a whole. And those have kind of continued in some form or fashion or another, and then also within ourselves. And as we looked around and we started to realize there's not a lot of different avenues for us. They have some things out now that you can order and they send it to your house and they're organic, and we're probably going to do some reviews on some of those. They don't pay us or anything like that. Just some things we found that are easier for us. So once we started doing more and more research and started looking into more and more things, we started to realize that there's a whole community out there of individuals that are first generation farmers, just like we're going to be, that basically just had a need for healthy food and to make themselves healthier and those around them. And so we just figured, if they could do it, why can't we? At the end of the day, there's nothing anybody out there is doing that you can't do yourself if you have a dream and a vision on how to do it. So that's kind of what made us decide to have a farm. And then we just kind of started doing research from there. And like I said, this has been 4 or 5 years in the making before.
It's not something that we just came up with overnight, like, hey, we're going to get out of the military and we're going to start a farm.
Yeah.
Like, we've been dreaming this and trying to figure out how we can make this a reality. And we finally just said, like, if we don't do it, it's never going to happen.
And why not a farm? That should be a better question, right? Why not a farm? So
we were watching Justin Rhodes' show last night, and it used to be the norm that everybody had a garden. Everybody had animals that they cared for. It wasn't necessarily a large-scale farm, but everybody had some sort of way to grow at least some of their food, and that was the norm. And now we're finding, like, people think we're crazy because we want to grow our own food and we want to have a garden and we want to have animals. And I feel like there's so many life skills and so many amazing, incredible things that you learn from growing your own food. And so why not? And why not be able to teach that to our kids while they're still young, and show them that? And if they choose to be farmers someday, great. If not, then they at least have those skills and they can pass them on to their kids if they want.
Yeah.
Or they can not. But I feel like why not teach them while they're still young? And we're going to learn too. Like we said, we don't have any experience besides growing some garden stuff on our porch and taking care of a dog. So it's not only going to be a huge learning experience for our kids, but it's going to be a huge learning experience for us. And I think we're going to have a newfound appreciation for farming and gardening and organic food and knowing where our food comes from. So
absolutely. And I mean, we've always been an outdoorsy family anyways, so we like going outdoors. I personally like to hunt and things like that. So it's always been a big part of my life. When I was real little, my parents had pigs and ducks and stuff like that. I don't obviously remember any of that, but they did. And there's a whole supporting cast, right? So we want you to understand that there's not all negativity, and not everybody's going to think you're quote unquote crazy, to use Lacey's words. I don't really think that they think we're crazy. I just think that they think we're not being safe, right? And you're going to get that a lot with anything in life when you try to follow your dreams, because they're your dreams at the end of the day, right? Nobody else understands that besides you, or more than you're going to understand it. So the big thing with us is we just know we have to do it, because if we didn't do it, then who else is going to do it, right? At the end of the day, we're still always going to have to eat, so why would we not grow our own food? We're still always going to have animals, so why not grow our own animals? So that was a big thing with us, is that holistic lifestyle of, we know where everything comes from. We can supplement that with individuals that maybe aren't having that ability to get those fresh fruits and vegetables and animal proteins and things like that. So we just wanted to make sure that, we're not only looking out for ourselves, but future generations down the road. And like Lacey said, I mean, at the end of the day, there's so many life lessons you can learn on a farm. And I think with all the chaos and craziness that happens right now in the world, especially, if we can just take a small piece of that and slow it down about 100 times over, that's going to teach life lessons to our children that we could never teach them, you know, staying in the military or traveling around. Now, don't get me wrong, they've learned a lot being military kids their whole lives. You know, obviously resiliency is a big thing. But I also think that's why it goes hand in hand with the farming community too, because you have to be resilient, right? Some years aren't going to be as good as others, and some years are going to be way better than others. So it's all about how you save and protect that lifestyle. So
I feel like we've been gotten really good at getting knocked down and getting back up the past couple of years. So we know we're not naive in thinking that it's going to be easy, but we're also excited and hopeful, and we're up for the challenge. So
absolutely. So if you like this video, go ahead and drop down a like, drop a comment, like I said, for a question. If you guys have future questions that you want us to answer, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you want to see more of these, make sure you click that little bell icon if you want to get notifications when we drop new videos. We're going to try to set up a schedule to be able to do this a couple days a week where you guys get to see videos from us. Please, since we're just starting out, obviously we don't have the farm yet. We're going to walk you through that process though, and make sure that we're taking that into account. Please
let us know what you guys want to see, what you want us to do videos on. If you want to see more of the military transition, if you want to see more about the farm and the farm business and the idea, let us know, because we want to make videos that are helpful to you guys. So
yeah, or if you just want to see videos like this, let us know. Absolutely. So let's grow together.
Bye, guys.